Welcome to the first edition of Roo Nation Sports. I'm Kennedy Bright, your host. Today we have with me a special guest, the Director of Kansas City Athletics, Dr. Brandon Martin. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Delighted to be here.
Yes, we thought for the first show it would be good to get you on here to talk about all the changes and so people have an idea of what's to come on our show.
I appreciate that.
Right. This past summer, the athletics department launched a new brand identity. What inspired that idea and the need for a change?
Well, it came down to a full assessment and evaluation of the entire athletics department. And improving our visual identity and our logo was one of the things that myself and my team identified as an area that we can improve. And, it was a 4-month process. We worked with a company called Old Hat Creative, and they did a terrific job of identifying the proper logo for us, as well as one that would connect with our students, connect with Kansas City, and connect with our alumni. And since the launch, it's really resonated with our fans. And we've really maximized our logo and visual identity, and we've really identified some key spaces within the Sweeny Center to really showcase that and for it to be a pride point for our student athletes.
You all went from UMKC Athletics to Kansas City Athletics and came out with a new primary logo. What was you guys' idea behind those two things specifically?
Well, we wanted to identify, we wanted our fans to identify with Kansas City Athletics. UMKC Athletics puts us in a space where, there's people in town, there's people across the nation, right? They know the campus, and they have a great deal of respect for our university. But as it pertains to athletics, we wanted something that was our own and something that our fans and the folks in Kansas City would take ownership of. And so when you think about Kansas City Athletics, that's our team, right? This is the only Division I college team here in Kansas City. And it was the first step towards when people say Kansas City Athletics, they know that it is UMKC.
Yes. You guys have a lot of ties with your new identity to Kansas City. How did you all make that connection between your logo and between the structure of the background of the logo?
Yeah, well, we spent extensive time, sending out surveys to our fans, spending time with focus groups on campus to get an idea of what that logo needed to look like. And, I've been all around Kansas City meeting with our fans, our season ticket holders, our donors, and people who really have an affinity for this university, not just athletics. And it all came down to this particular look. It all came down to this logo. It all came down to how Kansas City wanted to be represented. And so it came down to this is the first step. This is the first step towards comprehensive excellence. And comprehensive excellence is our mantra in our athletics department, and the logo and new visual identity is a critical piece of that.
The Sweeny Center went under the most physical changes here on campus.
Sure.
The north lobby, the new court, and the new technology that is in the gym. Can you talk to us about some of the changes that you made and what your goal was?
Sure. Well, there's been such talk about our new floor, our new competition floor. It's the first gold or yellow, Roo yellow, gold floor in the country. And I wanted to do something that was unique. I wanted to keep the skyline, but I also wanted to showcase our new logo at the center of the court.
Yes.
And so if there's a recruit that comes in on campus, that's one of the first things that we want he or she to see. And we're going to have a lot more fan support because people are going to be curious about what that court looks like.
Yes.
And that's something that we sell. That's something that we put in our materials as we send it out to our fans and to folks on campus, and all throughout Kansas City. The North Lobby space was an opportunity for us to tell the story of Kansas City athletics, to highlight our current student athletes, highlight our coaches, and really bring out the history, the pioneers, the legends that built this athletics department. And it's all about pride points, but it's not just athletic pride points. In the North Lobby, we're going to showcase our academic All-Americans, and we're going to showcase other teams outside of the teams that compete in the Sweeny Center, and showcase all of the pride points that we have made available.
It's going to be really nice.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
What kind of experience do you think the new technology and just the atmosphere that you guys are creating is going to have an effect on the athletes that play there and even on like the fans in the community?
Well, if you look at our current student athletes, it's a point of pride. It's a point of pride. Look at our court. Look at all of the changes that have been made. And it's amazing, as a former student athlete, when you play in a facility that's like the one we have, that just does something incredible to your psyche and to your motivation to want to be better, right? To be a better team, to come to work every day in practice and really try and strive for excellence. And for our fans, it's just going to enhance the fan experience. When a fan parks right in the parking structure close to Sweeny Center, we want them to walk into that space, and it evokes some emotion, but also educates and reminds fans about the history, about the success that we've had in previous years. And also, we want them to buy merchandise. We're going to have a new merchandise station there in the North Lobby space, and we want them to buy T-shirts and hoodies and caps and to represent.
What is your all's overall hope with the rebranding and the new things that you're bringing? What would be like your guys' overall goal long term?
Increase fan support, and that's across the board. More students coming to the game, more staff on campus coming to our games, faculty support, more reach out in Kansas City of folks who recognize our brand, recognized our trajectory of our department, and having just a presence, a strong presence throughout Kansas City, which will inevitably improve recruiting, people buying more season tickets, and even maybe donors wanting to contribute and make major gifts towards our plans in the future.
Gotcha. Beginning next school year, the athletic department is going back to the Summit League. Why is that?
Well, one of my jobs as the director of athletics is to position the student athletes and the coaches for success. And the WAC conference has been very good to us here at Kansas City Athletics, but we felt it was a time for change. It was a time to position our student athletes to where they can have more recovery in travel. It also offered an opportunity for us to build a traveling fan base. And it also provided an opportunity for our student athletes to have more time in the classroom. And our academic success is our number one strength in the department. And we would love to maintain that and even improve it to some degree. So the Summit League geographically makes sense for us. And we've received tremendous support from our fans about this change.
So what would be the number one kind of, or scratch that, what does the move to the Summit League help? Like, how does it help the student athletes, especially such as travel? I know it's going to be completely different, not traveling so far anymore.
Yeah, well, imagine if you have to travel all the way to Seattle and maybe back down to Cal State, Bakersfield, and then to Phoenix, and then to Texas, all the way back up to Chicago, versus traveling to Omaha, okay, traveling to the Dakotas. And it's just a different mindset. And those are places that we can bus to. We don't have to get on an airplane. These places we can bus to. So really at the core of it is welfare. There's recovery. Student athletes can recover from competition. The cost is going to decrease dramatically from the WAC league, and we just feel really good about it. We've already started a transitional plan, you know, in this 1 year gap, and our coaches are thrilled about it, and our fans continue to talk about this move back to the summit.
What would be a benefit for like UMKC students that are not student athletes? Why should they be excited about the move back to the summit?
This is a win for Kansas City Athletics, is a win for them. And we want to create the best fan experience for the students. We want the students to say that athletics and the athletic success is a pride point for us. We want the students, when they graduate from UMKC, to want to come back to one of our athletic events, to stay connected as alums. So in athletics, we want to play our part in creating and optimizing the collegiate experience for students on campus.
Beginning next year, when you guys go back to the Summit League, you guys are going down to 14 teams instead of 16. Why is that, and do you all plan to add any programs?
Well, I'll start with the latter. At this point, we do not plan to add any additional teams. Being a mid-major Division I athletics department, we seek to be efficient with our resources. And, you know, after doing our due diligence, collecting data, we decided that it would be best for us to be at 14, to make sure that the student athletes that participate in those 14 sports have the proper equipment, have the proper resources, and are positioned best for success.
What would be the advantages for the student athletes that when you guys go down to the 14 teams versus 16? Is there any like advantages to having that less teams?
Well, you know, like I said, I mean, if we're being more efficient, that means they're gonna have more opportunities to get better as athletes. From an academic standpoint, that would be less student athletes that we would have to accommodate, right? Which means that the student athletes within those 14 sports would be able to utilize more resources academically that we have. And so when we decided to make this change, of course, you never want to discontinue sports. You never want to impact a student athlete or student athletes to that degree, and because that changes their lives. That changes their lives. And one of the things that I made sure that I did was met with each of those student athletes in a group setting, and made sure that they heard it from me, made sure that they knew that I was there for them, because that's our responsibility as an athletics department, particularly me as an athletic director, to make sure that I protect their safety and their welfare and their future moving forward.
From the rebranding to the move to the Summit League and all of the changes that you guys are making to make UMKC a better place and just better making it a better place to be a student athlete and for creating a sense of school pride. If Kansas City still kind of doesn't get the message, what is the message you want to get out to them?
Well, Kansas City has already gotten the message, and we have Kansas City's attention. Now it's on us to deliver. And I feel that we need to deliver to the students, that fan experience. I feel that there's more work to do to bridge the gap with different companies, different schools within the Kansas City region. And I still need to be very vigilant at making sure that I get in front of as many people as possible. And so we have their attention. There's still more heavy lifting to do, but we feel very good about where we are right now. It's just, about really continue to take it one step at a time and build this program one brick at a time.
Well, thank you again for joining us today. We know you're very busy, so we appreciate you taking the time to come and do this for us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, no problem. Again, I'm Kennedy Bright with Roo Nation Sports, and we'll see you next time.